Kant's moral philosophy in real life. Have you ever stopped to think about why you do the things you do? Not just the what, but the deep down, fundamental why. This isn't just navel-gazing. It's the heart of what the great German philosopher Immanuel Kant explored in his moral philosophy. While his language can sound a bit formal and dense, the core of his ideas, often boiled down to the categorical imperative, is surprisingly practical and still shapes how we think about ethics, from our personal lives to global policy. The unconditional command, a North Star for action. Forget about consequences for a moment. Kant's revolutionary idea was that a truly moral act isn't defined by its outcome. Did it make someone happy? Did it save money? But by the intention or the maxim behind it. For him, the only thing that is good without qualification is a good will. This good will acts out of a sense of duty, respect for the moral law itself, not out of self-interest, pity, or the desire for a reward. This duty manifests as the categorical imperative, a rule that everyone must follow, regardless of their goals or desires, hence categorical or unconditional. Kant gave several formulations of this imperative, but two are most relevant to everyday life. 1. The formula of universal law, FUL. This formulation asks, act only according to that maxim, whereby you can at the same time will that it should become a universal law. In plain English, before you act, imagine if everyone, everywhere, did exactly what you are about to do, all the time. If the world you imagine is contradictory, self-defeating, or impossible, then your action is morally wrong. Real-life example, breaking promises. Imagine you're running late and desperately need to borrow a friend's car, but you know you can't return it when you say you will. Your maxim is, I will make a false promise to get what I need. If this became a universal law, the very concept of a promise would instantly dissolve. No one would believe a promise, so the act of promising itself, as an effective means to get a car, would become impossible. Because your act logically contradicts itself when universalized, it is a perfect duty not to lie. It's not about this specific lie hurting your friend. It's about the inherent impossibility of a world where lying is the rule. 2. The formula of humanity, FOH. This second formulation is perhaps the most inspiring and widely quoted. Act in such a way that you treat humanity, whether in your own person or in the person of any other, never merely as a means to an end, but always at the same time as an end. This is a powerful mandate for respect. It means that every person, you, your boss, the server at the cafe, even your perceived enemy, possesses intrinsic worth, dignity, simply by being a rational human being. Real-life example, exploitation in the workplace. When a manager overworks and underpays an employee, they are using that person merely as a means, a tool, to achieve the company's end, profit. They are ignoring the employee's status as a rational agent with their own ends, family, health, life goals. Treating them as an end means recognizing those goals, offering fair wages, and respecting their time and well-being, acknowledging their full personhood. Real-life example, self-respect. The FOH also applies to yourself. Engaging in self-destructive behavior or allowing others to perpetually walk over you is a violation of your own intrinsic dignity. You too must never treat your own person merely to someone else's end. Beyond rules, Kant's impact on modern thought. Kant's moral framework isn't just a set of rules. It's a foundation for political and legal systems that value rights over utility. The problem with utilitarianism. Many ethical systems, like utilitarianism, suggest the right action is the one that produces the greatest good for the greatest number. Kant rejected this because it allows the rights of a few, or even one person, to be sacrificed for the benefit of the majority. The FOH serves as a powerful moral firewall against this. Since a person has intrinsic worth, their rights cannot be traded away, regardless of the potential positive consequences for everyone else. This is why we have concepts like inalienable human rights. They are categorical, unconditional, and non-negotiable. The kingdom of ends. Kant envisioned a community, a kingdom of ends, where everyone follows the categorical imperative, and thus everyone treats everyone else with perfect respect, both as authors and subjects of the moral law. While perhaps utopian, this ideal informs our aspirations for justice, equality, and robust democratic institutions, where citizens are both governed by laws and the ones who ultimately enact those laws. The challenge of practical application. While Kant offers clear moral clarity, applying his philosophy can sometimes be challenging. What happens when two perfect duties conflict? For instance, what if lying, a perfect duty not to do, is the only way to save a life, arguably a perfect duty to do? Kant himself sometimes struggled with such extreme cases, famously arguing that one must never lie, even to a murderer, asking where their intended victim is. Most modern Kantians argue that in complex situations, we must use our practical reason to determine the real maxim at play. Is the true maxim, "I will lie to protect an innocent life from unwarranted harm," or the simpler, "I will lie"? The challenge isn't abandoning the framework, but wrestling with how to formulate the most accurate, universalizable maxim that best protects the intrinsic worth of all parties involved. The gift of Kant's philosophy is the constant, rigorous ethical self-check. Are you acting on a principle that you sincerely believe everyone should follow? Are you respecting the full humanity of every person involved? This dual test forces us to elevate our actions from mere reactions to reasoned, principled conduct, transforming everyday choices into profound moral acts. If Kant's ideas resonated with you or sparked a new way of looking at your choices, let us know. What's one action you're going to re-examine through the lens of the categorical imperative? Drop a comment below, give this video a thumbs up if it gave you food for thought, and be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next deep dive into the world of philosophy.